Okay. So uh, today we are going to start from the next part, that is after physical security we are having information security. So our next goal is information security. Okay. So let us understand what is information security, why is it important, and then what are the aspects of this information security. Okay, I'll just share the screen for the reference slide, and then we can discuss further. Mm, okay. So security operations center, scene tool, and then we came to physical security. And physical security, again, it is essential. There are some part that we need to cover. So already we talked about how physical security, fencing, guarding, and other details. All these things are very much important. Now we are going for the information security. So in the last session we had started with the information security, and we got to know that these are the areas at which are covering this. And if I'm covering entire thing in its completeness, then it deals with the information security. So nowadays there is a requirement of information security engineer who has the knowledge of network, who has the knowledge of system security, who is also having some knowledge of cyber security, different kind of attacks, different kind of best practices which are going in the industries, and then finally understanding how exactly information is kept, and how is it yeah, means applicable to respective field wherever anyone is working. So information security is very broader concepts, and main goal of that information security is the protection of all forms of sensitive and valuable information, so which are stored actually in digital or physical format. So these are the main this is the ultimate objective of information security. Let there be network, let there be firewall, let there be load balancer, let there be application servers which are there into non DMZ, the servers, web servers which are there into DMZ zone. Everywhere we have to talk about the sensitive and valuable information and how can we protect. So these are the things related to information security, and it is applicable to everything. Everything includes everything within the chain of the cyber security. Similarly, means as a there is one part that is network security, then there is system security and other things. So in the last session, we just discussed what are the how to understand information security. So when you want to understand information security, we have to understand the very first um, ground which we need to cover is called as data classification. So definitely we needed data classification, and data classification will tell that which data is very sensitive and which data is less sensitive, or which are confidential one, which are restricted one, or which data we cannot share outside our region or outside our country. And all those things are related to the data classification. So very first thing that we need to understand from information security is actually called as data classification. Okay, so last time we did just the aspects of data classification. So yeah, definitely there is a need of categorization of the data. So we need to categorize the data into various parts, whether it is for public use, whether it is for internal use, whether it is confidential, restricted, or highly confidential. So let's say if I'm talking about only a social networking site like Facebook, then we have to first understand, even for our own account or anybody's Facebook account, which informations are coming under public domain and which informations are coming under confidential domain. So right from password to date of birth, maybe your some informations which can reveal your sensitive information, all those things are coming under confidential. We have to take a proper security measure after using the categorization. So security measure is the second part which is there, and which requires the understanding what is to be done for those particular data which is marked as sensitive or highly confidential. So for that, there is lot of algorithms are available which are helping into the encryption. There are the access controls available for that. Only limited or authorized user are able to see, and there is lot of on monitoring is also ongoing, and that is again to ensure that none of the data is openly or publicly available. Then third thing is access control. So access control is actually part of the providing the level of security or hierarchy in the security, that who can access the data based on what. So based on the classification, data restrictions can be made. Then there is risk management, and there has to be a detailed study that what will happen if this sensitive data or this critical data is not protected, or if this goes out, then what are the issues and how will you prioritize the security efforts, and prioritizing the and reducing the risk surface area, and also trying to um, uh, take the extra measures so that even at the time of any incident, we can control the exposure that is coming under risk management. So every company is having their own risk management, they are having their own incident plan, they are having their own run book or playbook, and whenever such incident happens, they try to go by that book, by that set of sequences which are listed out there. That is depending upon their infrastructure. And lastly, there is mandatory part which is called as compliance. So whenever any audit takes place, maybe technical, non-technical, everywhere compliance comes in picture, and this compliance is actually helping in data classification and protecting the data. Okay, so and the audit part, it is checked whether you are using or whether you are doing the data classification, and your controls are as per that data classification. So these are the certain aspects of data classification, and there are certain benefits on other hand which are shown. There are some benefits of data as well, that data will be protected, you can utilize the resource allocation in efficient way, and definitely to mitigate, you should have improved incident response, and to comply with the legal and regulatory compliance, you have that data categorization, data validation, and data masking or data pseudonymization. So, and then there is a data lifecycle management, very important, because companies can take your data and they can use it for their specific period and they will protect by that. But after that, after those many years when that law is not applicable to that data storage, what will happen to that? Are they going to destroy it, or are you purge the data, or are they just going to make it open? And this is that cycle has to be monitored. Okay, so just as in last part we talked about data life cycle, how data life cycle is managed. So it is including these steps. They are related to how creation and collection of data should be done, and when you are collecting the data or creating the data, then there should be some EULA, that is end user license agreement. There are certain declarations that we are, whenever we install software, we just accept all the terms and conditions, even for online and offline things also. So all the terms and conditions are written there. If there is any change, they send email and they broadcast to their network, so that everybody knows that there is change in the collection policy, creation policy as well. Then how data will be stored there and processed there, that is also another kind of a stage in the data life cycle. And third thing is related to how data is being shared with the third party, or maybe used for their own business model, or when your consent has to be taken in trial. Then fourth point is related to how long data is going to be kept with them, and how exactly archival process is. And then last part is after life cycle reaches to its end, then how exactly data is being deleted or destroyed, and how this data will be safely disposed, so that there should not be any unauthorized access. So to support all these, uh, information security, where we are talking about data classification. So those things are actually managed by certain body which are governing across the globe. So they are like a GDPR, HIPAA model, PCI DSS, ISO 27001, DPDP. So all these things are there. Okay, and they are these are the standards that we should know. So if you are trying to go towards audit side, so one should know all these details. So yes, in the last session I uh, requested everyone to just to go through this GDPR, HIPAA, PCI DSS, all this. So just wanted to know whether you all get some information with this, or have you ever got the chance to look to this or not? So was it there? And uh, can you all just comment on it? Do you know what are these? And uh, uh, if there any challenge in accessing any resource? So are you all knowing what is GDPR? Yeah, Shubham.
No, sir.
Okay. Okay. So just a minute. I'll just check what Palak has to say here. Mm, chat. Okay, authenticity that you are saying. Okay. So GDPR is General Data Protection Act, which is actually incorporated by EU, Europe, and they had came with this request that, and globally, whatever is the data related to EU citizens, European citizens, they should not go outside their boundary. They will be within their, whatever you are storing, that should be within their server. So that was earlier only for the EU, and later it has been accepted by every corner across the globe, and now everyone has to comply with the GDPR. So GDPR is very first thing which is related to data protection. So it is required that we should go with these names and know how GDPR and other things are helping. I'll even give you the links. Links are very much easy, so you can get, and I'll post the link as well so that you can refer this GDPR. Then there is a HIPAA model. HIPAA model is actually applicable to medical field or medical insurance and medical field. So which is related to whatever um, are the medical reports for every individual that should be maintained and stored and kept as confidential for each of the citizens. So this HIPAA model is also incorporated for various countries, even Asian countries like India and all. Similarly, there is in Europe and US, everywhere. Then there is PCI DSS. So PCI DSS is for payment card in the payment card interface and data protection. Again, if you are using credit card, debit card, or any other wallet or something, then that should comply with this PSI DSS norms. So the PCI DSS is another thing, like PayPal, like all the payment gateway, Razor Pay, other pays, very global, very sign, all these things. Everyone is actually offering a payment gateway. So all those payment gateway websites and the applications, they are actually complying with the PCI DSS. If it is not complying with the PCI DSS, then that is a already vulnerable gateway we should not go for. So we should always check for the PCI DSS. A tick mark sign will be there for this PCI DSS. So that is required, and that is protecting all the credit card that should not be saved that on that location. If it is saved, it has to be encrypted in the way encrypted only, so that only user whenever puts the card information repeatedly again, so only their hash value is saved. Okay. Then there is ISO 27001. This is very important ISO norm, which is international standard organization is creating this 27001. Similarly, there is another code for cloud. There is another code for IoT device. There is another code for AI security. There is another code for various industries. For every model, there is certain ISO standard code. So very first thing which is there for the certification, as well as in the audit, for as an auditor or information security, again this ISO 27001 is very important. So this talks about lot of things, how the access management should be, how user review should be, how user can how should user be onboarded, and what will happen to data, how will you set up the DR data, disaster recovery, how will react to particular incident at the time of any data breach, and all these things. And then finally, recently there was this new thing has come, that is DPDP. So this is data protection for personal or personal data. So whenever we have all these bodies, whenever there is any audit, we have to comply, we have to make sure these things are happening, and they are complying with some organizations are also going for the certification from these body for their entire organization. And then they are actually having some value in the market, that they can act as a vendor to any other bigger companies or other organizations, even sometime taking any contract on any government norms. So these certifications are also required. So after audit, they get all these things, and then it is helpful in their business. Now, next thing, second important thing from information security is actually the encryption technique. So definitely, whenever you are saying that I want to protect my data, I want to make sure my sensitive informations are not available to anybody else, what you have to do what you have to exactly go for is the encryption, because we have, if you have to comply with the policy, you have to talk about data at rest, and you have to talk about data in transit, and you also have to talk about nowadays data in use. So these two are earlier, and this one is now again becoming more significant. So data at rest should be encrypted. It is the best practice always. We should encrypt the data which is at rest wherever it is saved online, maybe on the cloud, in the S3 bucket of AWS, maybe the blob storage blob of Azure, maybe the storage of bucket of Google GCP, maybe into Oracle Cloud, maybe into your private cloud, wherever it is. Data at rest has to be encrypted. That is the best practice. But many of the because it comes with the cost, many of the organizations don't do so. They only encrypt the very critical storage only, and don't they does not store uh, any other thing. But then there has to be a proper categorization, and there should be the marking that this data is not sensitive. So let's say if any let's say any data is stored and information is taken from the customer, so maybe the name, maybe just as a number of individuals, or maybe very general informations that you are not encrypting. But however, if you are storing your data into let's say uh, birth date, maybe PAN card number, maybe social security number, or any other thing which is actually helping to identify that particular person, so those are actually called as PIIs, personal identifiable identity, and that should not be done disclosed, so that has to be encrypted. Similarly, there is data in transit, again that need to be encrypted. So we have to make sure that encryption is done for this as well. So again, it is encryptor required. This is must. There in the data at rest, you can use some categorization, and then you can mark that which one is to be encrypted and which one is not. But in case of data in transit, there is always you should take this best practice that you should encrypt the data in transit. And whenever you want to encrypt data in transit, you have to use HTTPS protocol, not only HTTP. It should be HTTPS, which is having SSL security. Okay, so SSL security is coming with the TLS. TLS is a transport layer security. So that is currently there is TLS 1.2 and 1.3 are actually accepted. Below that, TLS 1.0 or any below version is not advised, because there are a lot of vulnerability, and anybody can crack it. There could be man in the middle attack, there could be spoofing, there could be cross scripting. Several such problems may arise. Some of the tactics and techniques and the procedure which is called TTP, that we are going to see into the further part as well. And lastly is the data in use. So again, this thing is there, and nowadays with the increased trends of that AI, the increased trends in the quantum computing, now data in use is also vulnerable. So earlier this was not there, but now even at the cloud level, if data is being processed, by the time there is possibility that your data may get leaked. And because of that, now data in use, data in processing is also needs to be encrypted. So this is the new challenge which has arisen. Okay, so data in use, it should also be encrypted. because this is possible that at the time of processing these sensitive informations can be siphoned off. So these are the things. So to avoid all these unauthorized access, encryption is a best tool or best defense, first line of defense for all the data which are marked as sensitive. So what are the key aspects of this and what are the types of encryption? Let's have a quick look on that. So whenever you want to you want to use the encryption, make sure you have to make sure that data is unreadable or scrambled so that no one can make sense of the data. That is called as encryption, and it is the meaningful only when you are using appropriate decryption key. So whenever we do anything browsing into web browsing, and if we are using HTTPS, then only we'll be having what? Encryption. So there is public key and there is private key. So whenever there is encryption done, so that is done with the private key, and whenever anybody who is receiving, they are having their own, means that is done by the key, and whoever is actually receiving, they are having their own key, and that is with that only they will be able to decrypt that. So that will be a public key. So same way here also keys are exchanged and that is used. Then this is actually branch of cryptography. Cryptography is one field of the technology which is incorporating mathematical concepts, and they build a very complex and very strong encryption and decryption process. So there has to be some restriction onto the user, that while creating password, make sure you use all the alphabet, any one alphabet, you use the numbers, you use the special characters, or the combinations that should not be repeated once. So because of all this, what will happen, your there will be by using this cryptography algorithms, there will be very strong password will be generated, or its algorithm will create a very strong password, and they will be giving you the best encryption. And once encryption is available, it is difficult to break. May be means there is the possibility that there is a chance that one can, any other algorithm can guess those passwords, but let's say it is taking about 10,000 year, 500 years, 1 million days. So those encryptions will not be cannot be guessed before that. So this is how it is possible that we can make it encrypted, and lot of informations can be encrypted, and very difficult to decrypt without the decryption key. So it is almost too impossible to reverse engineer without the decryption key. Nowadays, because of the quantum computing, some issues are there into the research area, but still it is not available at in corporate or at commercial level. And another aspect of encryption is confidentiality. Whenever we are doing this uh, training session online, so again all these data are actually encrypted while going onto the internet. Nobody is able to understand what is going on here, only the particular similarly like we are having VPN. So again it is the entry to your servers which are located to your organization. So without VPN, if you access, it is vulnerable. That is why VPN is there in the picture. So they are actually having using IPsec end-to-end encryption, like WhatsApp and other meta social networking. They are supporting it, and we talked about CIA. That is the paramount of the cyber security. That everywhere confidentiality, integrity, and Not authenticity is there, it is part of you. We have availability. So from the CIA terms, we have integrity also. So integrity is maintained because nobody should be able to modify that data in between. So integrity means it is tampered proof. Nobody has altered that data or even seen that data or spoofed that data in any manner. So like if you're making if you are placing any online or home delivery order, and it is your device or your order is properly packed and that box is properly sealed off, so you are sure of it that whatever is there, that is not opened in between and not accessed by any other. So that is called as integrity. And lastly, there is authentication. So authentication plays a very vital role, which is actually making sure that only the concerned person is able to access that. So authentication always involves some security measures, and because of that, first we need to identify the parties who are communicating or people who are involved in that, and if they are authentic, then only these things can be done. So encryption technique is ensuring lot of aspects over here, and there are different type of encryptions. Some part we have already covered into the ciphering the text, but still we can just talk about certain more that is related to what is symmetric encryption, asymmetric encryption, end-to-end encryption, and data in transit is supported by transport layer security, that is TLS, or SSL security, which is called a secure socket layer, which is of 128 bit to 256 bit of length. So let's talk about symmetric encryption. So symmetric means it is equal on both sides. Means single key will be shared for the encryption as well as for the decryption. Okay, and there is less number of key exchange because only one key is there for all. So that will be broadcasted along, and by using that key we can open. So it is like you are sending any um, um, let's say any suitcase or any trolley which is locked already, and you are sending the key as well along with it. So there will be some threads which are associated with this, but symmetric information is simple and easy for the key exchange, but it requires very secure way of key exchange. Okay, so that is called a symmetric encryption. Then asymmetric encryption, it is having two pair of two keys, that is one pair. One is public key, which is for encryption, and another is the private key, which is available for every individual whoever is receiving those packets, and they can open that packet or decrypt that packet. So again, you have to make sure that the public key which is there, okay, um, that is secured way. Even if public key is exposed, then also this can be decrypted only by private key. So that is, this process is actually used into web browsings. So all the secured web browsings are using the same. Okay, so is there any question or anything that you want to ask? Please let me know. Is it fine? Can we go ahead further? Okay. So next thing is like TLS or SSL. So again, it is used into sorry, end to end. I forgot to mention. So end to end is another like tunneling kind of thing, and we are using various technologies like WhatsApp and any other signal, IPsec, and there are SONET and many other technologies which are using this end-to-end encryptions. And here what happens that the sender side and receiver side, every entire channel is encrypted. No, so there is only intended recipient will access the plain text, and nobody else will get any access to any part of this signal. Okay, so that is actually better than the other encryption technique. Then there is a TLS or SSL, which is again important, and nowadays 90% of the web communication is happening with the TLS and SSL security only. So protocol whatever you are using will act as a client and server over the internet, and we can use this different certifications which are generated by various bodies. So whenever you want to use HTTPS, you have to first buy the certification, that is the SSL certificate, from certain amount of vendors which are available globally, and they will provide you this certification, digital signatures, and that will verify that whatever signal or whatever information you are receiving through that website is actually coming from their that particular authentic server. Nobody else in between is actually modifying those signals or those informations. So that is what the transport layer security or SSL is. Okay, some further part we can try out certain demo based on the SSL or TLS. Okay, so overall what we understood from this encryption technique, that we can use the cryptography, and cryptography will convert the original message into secret message or ciphered message. And by ciphering this, let's say there is one very simple method is there. Every letter you are shifting by 2, so A is changed into C, and T is T, after that X, T U V, so V has come, again V has come. So this is how actually we can encrypt the message. So these things, these now the secret that it is shifted by 2, that should be known to only the decryption party, not everyone else. Otherwise everyone can decrypt the data. So that is the main catch here. So many times right from second world war onwards, and there were spies, they used to transmit the message, and later on they started transmitting the message over the radio as well. And there was lot of debate, there was lot of technology evolution by that time, and people started using these encryptions and all at that time. So how will you safeguard the digital assets? So next thing, third thing is, how will you secure the data storage and the how will you store the data storage and the transmission? That is the next part, that is related to again information security. So here lot of informations means that validation process will be there. Until unless your entire communication is validated, we cannot trust those communications, and we should not allow those communications. Okay, so let's say if user is trying to access any data, we have to make sure if it is stored somewhere onto the cloud, data will be provided. Let's say if it is following HIPAA model, so health monitoring data through mobile phone or the sensors or hospital records, all these are the data providers. Now they should use the HIPAA model compliance, and after that they should be sending this data to, let's say, any online server, not on their private server, it is on cloud server, so it will be there, right? So there will be data, and that will be stored from this provider. There will be authorization queries, and encryption will be done. And then when this person wants to, data owner wants to access it, then the provider will share that these are the access codes or keys by which you can just go onto this cloud and you can check your information or data. So for that you need to secure the data storage. So securing data storage is actually using this encryptions. So encryption is required, definitely. Then to maintain the proper then the authorizations and authentication are another part to maintain the confidentiality and integrity. And then there has to be certain backup and the recovery as well. The regular backup is to be taken so that we can uh, enforce the data resilience. So data resilience means even at the time of any attack, cyber attack, we are having another copy of our data. And if you know that there is a attack recently happened to many organization. So that ransom attack is actually encrypting everything on your system, and you are not able to access your own data. Your data will not go anywhere from your system, but it is in the encryption form. And if possible, even they can put the deletion as well, if they can exploit it further. So this is how hackers or attackers or apts, they are trying to extort the money, or maybe any malicious intent. They are trying to encrypt the data. So that is how, why backup and its recovery plan, that should be in at the proper it should be followed, and that should be at proper place. Then whenever you are sending out the data or receiving the data, again I have said that data in transit has to be secured via various protocols which are there. So we should always use TLS or SSL protocol while communicating through channel. So that is called a secure communication channel. So if you want to set up the secure communication channel over any network, make sure you are using TLS or SSL protocol. And same goes for the VPN, that is virtual private networks. So you can create entire end-to-end tunnel in the open internet, and nobody will be able to access. Only the parties which are at the end of this tunnel can access the data into the plain text format. Then there is authentication. There is one more thing called as data integrity check. So there is a lot of technique, like from checksum to many other techniques, by which we are matching the hashes of MD5 after doing any updates, so that we can verify whatever updates we have done to our device, they are matching. Okay. So lot of things are there from the data security perspective. Even this entire thing is having one complete set of logic. Okay. So that is related to data secure, how to securely transmit the data. It is also referred as data in transit. And there are benefits, there are challenges, there are the issues. And if you're not up to date, again there are lot of vulnerabilities are also there. So we have to make sure that we are using the proper method. So how to go for proper information security? We have to make sure that we are using, taking proper measurements and precautions. We are complying with the compliance body. We are following the best practices, whatever is there for the data classification, whatever is there for the encryption techniques, and how exactly we are securing the data whenever they are at rest and they are in the transit. So these are the three aspects of information security, which will uh, make sure that whether your data is on the cloud, your data is onto any local device, maybe on private cloud, wherever it is, these things are followed, then only we can ensure the information security. Okay. So is there anything, any question that you want to, anyone want to ask? Please let me know. So there is a question that if we terminate the connection and connect again, then will it generate the new key or use the previous key only? So whenever you are doing, see, it is as per the session also it is binded. So whenever you are using any asymmetric communication, so every time whenever you are using, so private key will be the same, which is on to the individual user side, and again you have to generate the new key. So that is how it is done. So whenever termination of connection is actually um, kind of three-way handshake. So once your three-way handshake is completed, then you can start the connection. And once after the entire connection completes or entire data transfer completes, then again handshake happens. So this is how the end of everything. And if we want to try again, then again there will be a whole new set of things. So that is what is the challenge is over here, that I can just we can discuss over here, that whenever we do this encryption when data is at rest, so it is actually creating another issue at the time of availability. Means whenever users are trying to access the data, what will happen, where let's say your data is totally encrypted and it is very securely stored somewhere, and you are trying to access that data, what will happen, first that data will be decrypted for you by using your private key, and then again it is encrypted as per the policy which is decided for the data in transit, and then it will appear to you. So data in transit, that is something you cannot avoid, and data in rest, that is up to your choice. So this is how they are trying to use it. Like let's say at my home, many other things which are lying as it is, and I know that my door is locked and I can I can do the things here, no, without any issues. And whatever is sensitive information, private information, there is no problem over here. But while going out, or if I'm sending something to somebody else, then I have to make sure it is properly wrapped or packed, or it is properly protected, and then I'll send it out. Again at the receiver party's home, it is up to their will whether they are keeping it bare open or all this. So this is one example which I'm actually highlighting, which is showing that whenever I'm trying to access any data from the internet, or over the internet, over the intranet, wherever it is, we have to make sure that data in transit should be. So whenever we have data in transit, that should always be encrypted. But when we talk about data at rest, wherever it is, then you have to decide whether it is to be encrypted or not. If you don't encrypt, then you will have better speed of access. But if you encrypt, then every time you are accessing, there will be decryption, and then again encryption as per the data in the transit, and it will appear to you. So that is why you might have felt that whenever you are accessing any uh, thing as a from secured website or something, it is taking certain time. Maybe mostly if I talk about government data, so if you are accessing anything over the government server, so it takes bit more time than the usual or non-government servers are. Why? Because of the encryption and decryption which is extra. They are producing certain latency in there. So your timing will be your timing will be bit more. So that is why for the transactions it is mandatory. For other than that, it is up to how your data is classified, and accordingly that thing has to be done. So these are the things related to it. Okay, so I hope you got some information from here. So if we change the key every time, will it affect the storage? So yeah, it is actually incorporating into the latency. Okay, so there will be delay, lot of delay. And can we change the security rules for different connections for the same destination? Yeah, this thing is always followed. Okay, security rules can be changed based on the kind of data you are accessing, based on the time at which you are accessing the data, based on the reason from where you are accessing your own data. So if you are within a country and your data is actually of the same country, you are accessing it, then there is different rule. When you are in another country and trying to access data which is stored your data only into another country, so again security rule or policy rules will be different. Correct. Okay, so let us go to certain cyber threat landscapes. Okay, so I just want to cover this um, right away because many times I am giving the references to many other things, and every time I have to use these words which are related to cyber threat landscapes. So what is cyber threat landscape? It is nothing but the areas over which cyber threat is possible. So if you know your landscape, then only you will be able to protect it. If you don't know where till what my landscapes are there, so this might be the issue, and you may miss certain corners or certain things to secure. So a cyber threat landscape is helping to understand, helping to take proper measure so that attack surface can be reduced. So this is what is why we need to understand the cyber threat landscape. What are the areas? What are the key areas where these things are happening, and how to take the proper precaution or measure so that we can reduce our attack surface. If I know that my fencing or boundary around my home is not properly, not there proper, so threat can happen not from the door, it can happen even from the backyard also. So that is why proper fencing is required, so it deals with the physical security as well. Okay, so what are the key aspects of this cyber threat landscape? That first of all you should know that what are the different threat actors. So you need to know what are the different diverse areas from where threat can arise. So how will everyone know that where are the from where the attacks are happening? So again, this thing you have to find out that who are doing it. Okay, who are the attack vectors? So this is actually understanding the attack vectors. Okay, so attack vectors are actually coming from various side. Okay, for that you have to have the threat intelligence. How will you get the threat intelligence? There are the bodies, they are non-profit organizations. Their job is to collect all the informations, find about different kind of breach, and trying to understand what are the different issues, maybe what are the vulnerabilities available in particular software, particular device, particular methodology, particular way of communicating, where threats are possible and where intrusion can be done. So all these things are actually covering out these diverse threat actors. Next thing is the sophisticated attack. Sophisticated attack is very dangerous, and it is very intended, very much intended. So if it is very much intended, then it is very dangerous, because particularly for any organization, if someone is targeting, then definitely they can go for various different tactics to get into the system. So sophisticated attack is actually performed by various things like employing techniques such as ransomware, phishing. Phishing is still evolving. Okay, even if there are the ais, they are now handling which are the phishing, but still a lot of mail phishing, email phishing, sms phishing, and calling, all these are coming under the phishing. Okay, and gaining the access to personal information, and above to all there is this apt. So APT is what? It is advanced persistent threats. So do you know what is APT? Advanced persistent threats. They are nothing but the different body. They are bodies which are even sometimes backed by various governments, and they are actually launching the attack sophisticated way to other countries, and they are apts. Okay, so every country is claimed to have, or is actually people have blamed that these are actually backed by these countries, and these apt groups are actually active, and they are very much vulnerable, doing the lot of damage into the cyber security area, landscape. Okay, so targeted sophisticated attack, targeted attack, they are very intended one, and they are very dangerous. So do you know what is the which one is the current latest apt group active? And we change the security. Okay, so, do you know what are the which APT group is currently active, and that is highlighted recently? They are and which country is backing on them, uh, on record? Okay, so I'll just do here. Let's search it out. Not this one. Is the screen visible to you all? Okay, or just wait. So advanced persistent threat, as you can like from a reference website, I'm showing you how APT groups are actually doing this, how actually they are trying to do lot of issues and problems. So country wise, you can see there is lot of backing. Okay, so many groups are there which are backed by these countries. So from very start there was APT1, APT3, APT4, APT19, and all these are advanced persistent threat, and they are capable of doing lot of damage. And there are some other countries also they are backing, and there are the proofs that they are using this APT. Their APT group is having the name. They are registering themselves with the one version next. Okay, so this is the very latest one which is called as sandworm. Okay, that is a APT 44. So there is lot of group backed by various countries. Okay, so we are specifically going for APT 43 info. So APT 43 is actually this country, North Korean state-sponsored cybersecurity operations. They have different names also that you can see. What is their motivation? What is their target objective? Which techniques they are using? Credential harvesting. They are trying to use different password spying technique, rainbow table, various other techniques by which they are trying to invest. Means they actually plan the plot to get the lot of credentials by which the system is compromised, and they give lot of credentials to them, and then they try they with their methodologies they try to use this. There are different malwares which are actually used by this group, and recently two countries were under attack because of this cyber attack. So read rat. Okay, so what is rat? Rat is remotely you are accessing that rootkit is there. So uh, then there is RC. These are the different kind of issues which are there. We'll discuss that also. As we discussed, these are the industries in which they are trying industry, targeting the industries like this. Almost all the things are there. And what are the targeted companies? So there are different there are countries which has been targeted till now. Okay, and these are the attack, and Mitre is another standard body who has identified the attack techniques which are used by APT 43 group, and these are the various issues, and all are actually tagged, and their code is written. Okay, accordingly, if it is of same version, so same thing, but their dot after dot there are the versioning of the same. So these are the various groups which are actually available, and one has to make sure that uh, the country and the particular cyber security, because a lot of startups and many other things are starting, but the main issue is related to these groups. Okay, so this is coming from threat intelligence. Threat intelligence is a field from where we source a lot of information on all these things so that we are aware of all these things. Okay, so this is where this even virus total is very credible IP tracking website, which is actually which is also which has um, published an article on to this, how threat APT actors are there, how are they targeting, even they are targeting with the docx and then PowerShell, other things. So there is a lot of issues, and detection evaluation is actually increasing over the period, and how exactly their patterns are there, geographically distribution, in which country they are having more presence. So all these things are happening. So these are the different APTs and other things. So this is actually coming from threat intelligence. So threat intelligence is another thing that our every organization should focus on, and they are employing a team of cybersecurity specialists who are actually sourcing all these things, all these informations, and trying to make the report for particular organization, and trying to block all those IOCs. IOCs are indicators of compromise. So if I know that a certain group is there who is targeting certain resources online, and these are their respective IP addresses, or these are their methodologies, so we can take certain measures to in proactive way to stop those. Okay, so if I know that in my area there could be certain damage, loss, or any intrusion to my home, and they are able to pick the lock, and if this kind of lock is there, then it is difficult for them to enter. So everyone will try to replace their lock with the complex one, with the one with their they are not able to access it. So same goes for cyber security as well. It is, see, cyber security is nothing but it is our daily common sense thing. So you have to apply your common sense and understand what precautions should we take so that these things are very much safe. Then there is a targeted attacks. Then there is uh, targeted attack is something where sometime insider threats are also deployed, and they are working inside the organization for some long time, and they gather the information over the period that is possible. Then there is supply chain vulnerability. This is very problematic part, where supply chain vulnerability is done, then there is lot of issues. So like attack on the third party, and there is a lot of other damages to the entire ecosystem of the organization. So to stop that, you have to make sure your supply chain is intact. Means if you are taking any services from third party or vendor, make sure your data is not leaked to them. And if you are taking the help of them, make sure they are using they are not using their own devices, rather they are using your own device. Okay, and some rules are there. So if you are using any organization's laptop, make sure they make sure that some policies and strictly some things are written. USB is disabled, so that no one should be able to download or attack anything from the, at least from the USB. Then there are the zero day exploit. So this is another term again in cyber attack and security, that is zero day. This is something where nobody knows that there is one exploit available in my hardware or software. Okay, that is unknown to the vendor who has created it, and before patches are released, exploit has happened. So zero day are very dangerous exploits. Okay, so means since start there are the vulnerability and nobody knows. So that is the another challenging part. Even recently Microsoft has accepted certain things, and they have patched around 143 updates they had given, and that is all related to a few of them were related to the zero day exploits. What are the different challenges? The very problematic challenge is rapid evolution, because cybersecurity is a field of continuous change. It is continuously keep on changing, trending as per latest threat, because hackers are always trying to go one or two step ahead of the security measures which are taken place at the organization. So this is already going happening from since very start. Okay, so maybe at the time of even ancient time to this modern time, everywhere there, because of the rapid evolution, there is lot of things we need to take care of. Then there is lack of resource. Many organizations are having, but they don't have that much budget, maybe staff, maybe effective people. So even nowadays government has made mandatory that every firm who is online and who are doing some online customer service and whatever it is, then they should have a team of cyber security expert with them, because it is now a mandatory, because everybody is vulnerable. Then there are the human error. So recently we saw in 2 3 days before, there was the news that because of one engineer's error mistake in the Oracle cloud, there was lot of vulnerability, and entire day system was down. So that is another issues, that may be intended, that may be unintended. There are a lot of things. So this is very random. Then there is regular regulatory compliance. So this is actually which is the stricter data protection regulations which are there, so that they can, everyone should comply to it, and there will be strong um, uh, legal and other things. Means legal actions can be, or penalties can be put on if that proper best practices are not being followed. This will help to save that organization as well, and the data of the people who are actually using this. Okay, so there is lot of things which are there related to the cyber threat landscapes. before proceeding to any other part after this, we have to actually go for the understanding how different attacks are done, and what are the different tactics we are using, and what are the different threats, malwares, and attack vectors. All these things are there, because unless we don't know our landscape entirely, or the methods by which we have to protect our data, we are vulnerable. And then there are different kind of security, like web security, application security. All these things are there, and then we'll visit to different vulnerabilities, threats, and risks which are possible. Okay, so I just like take a pause and wait here. So if any questions are there, then we can conclude today's session actually. So is that fine? Are you all understanding anything? Because lot of concepts are there that we need to keep on just doing it, and once it is in place, then I'll highlight certain more resources that we can go for. So it is not only that we should have a certification, or only it is a what we are capable of understanding different concepts and trying to comply with the industry's demand in the cybersecurity field. Okay, so that can be done. So that is all for today, and we'll start the new sessions next time, and we'll cover different types of attacks and issues, and how to mitigate with them, so that we can carry out.